Get ready for the Mardi Gras Parade in Crystal Beach, Texas, March 1st. A full day of family and friends fun on the upper Texas coast.
Hey everybody, this is Landon with Prestige Custom Builders. We're here on Bolivar Live and we're doing things a little bit different today. Today, we're flipping spots. Like I came up with this idea. I wanted to run it by David first and make sure that, you know, we had the opportunity to kind of share what Bolivar Live is, how it came to be, and how it's going, and where the future holds. So,
but we're also gonna, from my standpoint, we're also have a show where it's going to be turned around, and we're going to talk about Prestige here in another week. So
David, tell us a little bit about Bolivar Live, how it started, how the concept came to be, and what kind of turned you on to this whole idea.
It started actually with Brad at Stingery Restaurant. You know, I was guiding, I guided fishing trips for 15 years, and I came in one day, and it was probably one of those middle of July into August, you know, where the wind doesn't. And I looked rough, and I was tired, you know, and we'd all bounced back from Ike. Things were going good. And he said, "Man, you're getting tired." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "This is a young person's sport." He said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Man, Bolivar is one of those places that you can do just about anything if you want to and make money.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not a lot, but you can make, you know, survive." He said, "Man, I've watched you with your fishing business over the last 10, 12 years. He said, "You need to promote Bolivar. No one's ever done it." And so we finished drinking iced tea there in the shade, and I went home. And I was sitting there in front of the TV, and Facebook had really just started getting going good.
Yeah.
And so I went in and registered Bolivar Peninsula, Texas on Facebook, and I went into GoDaddy because I've got about, I don't know how many domains that I think of, and I registered BolivarPeninsulaTexas.com, and I came back the next day and I said, "Hey, I did this and this." And he said, "Why Bolivar?" I said, "Because if we're going to promote something, we have to do the whole 27 miles from the Highland Bridge, because theoretically there is no Crystal Beach."
Yeah, no, if
you know, it's an unincorporated area.
Well, if you go, like I'd get a lot of stuff delivered, and if you do it, most of the time it says Port Bolivar, and you give people the zip code, they can find it. If you give people the town, they don't know where it is.
Right, right. And so we started off with social media. And about a year later, I was up at my mom's for Christmas with Chris, my wife, and I'd sold the fishing business, both websites, and piddled around a little bit. And she just looked at me and said, "Well, you've had about a year now. What are we going to do? You know, are you done playing?" And I said, "Man, I think I'm going to promote Bolivar." And so I came back and started doing stuff on social media, and then the following Thanksgiving, RTA had started. Cody had started Southern Broadband, and I got with him, and had a guy build the site, and they installed 5 cameras. And
cameras are great because you stretch from the fort all the way back down to rollover,
right?
Yeah. And so you can always kind of check those to see what the water conditions are.
And we've got, you know, the Stingery Bay cam too that covers a lot of the bay. And so that was going along good, and I was working out of the house, and then live feeds came around.
Yeah.
And one day I thought, you know, I was in the beta program. They'd sent me a deal to try it. And so I had probably an iPhone 8 or something, 6, and I got a beanbag and put it on my dash and just took off down the beach one day and put it on live and started talking. And I went back a day later and I was looking at the views.
Yeah.
And I noticed that my likes or followers had come up a little bit. And so I thought, man, this. And so I went to Brad and Keith one day, and I think it was over lunch, and I said, "Hey, we're going to start a Bolivar Live show." and I'm going to take my half-ton four-wheel drive truck, and I've got a four-wheel drive shop. We're going to put tires on it. We're going to jack it up, and it's going to be called the Bolivar Live Truck. And y'all are going to give me stuff to give away because people are going to come up to it and ask what's free today. And they both looked at me like, are you crazy? And I said, just think about it. I said, man, these live feeds are doing good. And I think the next day, Keith and Brad both said we're in.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's how it started. And then Keith came to me and said, I want my logo on at least one show a day, because I've watched some of the shows. Can you put it on there? And I said, man, I don't know. And I went home and I researched it, and they had just released, which is not even around now, Sling Studio, and it was a little box that I could put in my truck and inlay anything I wanted to on it.
Nice.
Right there. And so that's sort of how it evolved, and then it's grown and grown and grown. And what's neat about it is, and it's funny, people can tell if I do a live show on the beach, say driving or something, they can tell the mood I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, like I've had a guy come up to me one day and he said, man, you did that show on the beach yesterday. I think it was at 2 o'clock or something. And man, you weren't in a good mood. And it just really surprised me that people pay attention. And when it comes down to it, it's the businesses here. I've been blessed.
Yeah. No,
you know, it's not,
tons
I'm
of
a
good businesses here.
logistical person, but it's the businesses, because we have no hot tax down here. And so everything I do is paid for by the advertisers and businesses down here, you know, whether it's Prestige or Keith or the Texas Crab Festival I do work for. And so it's been a blessing. And I've always been one to say, because I had a welding rig for years, if you don't look forward to go to work every morning, it's time to change. And whenever I said, when I had my welding rig, when I have to put cheaters in my hood, because I knew a bunch of old welders, I'm going to find something else to do. And I busted a test because I couldn't see the bevel. And so about 4 weeks later, I sold my truck and started guiding. So.
Well, it's one of those deals of, I think you said it best right there, is when you don't look forward to going to work, like as a small business owner, that's whenever you need to start looking at something else. Because you wake up every morning, it's Bolivar Live. You know what I mean? I wake up every morning, it's Prestige. Like
That's right.
You have to take care of those things because those are your babies.
And you're down here. You know, a lot of people think, oh, if you own your business,
you don't have to work it.
Yeah, you can take off whenever you want, but look at what you sacrifice.
Well, there's nobody cutting you a paycheck.
Yeah,
like, let's just be honest
if you
here,
don't
right?
answer the phone, you don't get it. And that's what I've tried to explain to, like, Chris. And I've got a understanding wife that, you know, when things down, she always says something to bring it back, and very understanding, because, you know, I'm here. Yeah. You know, when it's just like this Christmas, we were going to finally take off 2 weeks, and then the tornado came through, and we got a good week, you know. And she said, hey, we need to go back because you need to be there. Because she lives Bolivar too, and that's what, you know, I bleed Bolivar. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a really cool show to do, because I don't know that everyone knows the backstory of how Bolivar Live got started. Now, on the next show, we're going to do this again because it's a two-part deal, and I want to know like the ins and outs of it, like the nuts and bolts of the storm chasing type stuff, the weather type stuff, because that's stuff that when I talk to you off camera and you're driving down the road and something like this is coming up, or something like what we just had with the Arctic blast, or whatever we want to call it.
For us, it was an Arctic blast. When I put blue jeans on, it's Arctic.
It's Arctic blast. But it's one of those deals. I want to talk about that and how that came about, and where we see it kind of going, and how people can kind of stay in touch with what is going on down here in Crystal Beach, Bolivar Peninsula, you know, 24/7. So.
Well, like I told them last week, the next 2 or 3 weeks, they never know what we're going to be doing.
Right. That's right. That's right. So I'm landing with Bolivar. No, I'm landing with Prestige. David's with Bolivar Live. Hey, we're wrapping up this show. We're going to come to you again next. Okay. Thanks.